Try not to trip on your clipboard again, one soldier joked as she passed, nudging his buddy with an elbow. Laughter followed her down the hallway like static. The nurse didn't look back. She never did. In a sea of polished boots and loud egos, she moved quietly, head down, steps careful, eyes always observing. To most on the base, she was just another soft-voiced medical staffer in a sea of white coats. No one remembered her name. No one asked. They called her Doc, Bandage Girl, or worse, the Help. But not once did she correct them. She stitched wounds in silence, cleaned up blood no one else wanted to look at, took night shifts when no one volunteered. And still they laughed. Because she didn't shout, because she didn't flex, because she didn't seem like one of them. Until the day the general arrived. He came in unannounced, flanked by 2 aides and a wall of silence. His face was sharp, his gaze sharper. The moment he stepped into the infirmary, chatter died. Even the cocky ones straightened up. He inspected everything, clipboards, patient logs, medical supplies, with the cold intensity of a man trained to spot weakness in a heartbeat. The nurses stood stiff. The doctors held their breath, and then his eyes landed on her. She was cleaning the arm of a wounded soldier, her movements exact and unshaken, even under the general's stare. The room waited for him to move on. But he didn't. Instead, he stepped forward. "Where's your rank?" he asked. She looked up slowly, not startled, not unsure. "Sir." "You heard me," he said, pointing at her blank chest. "No name. No rank. Why?" The entire infirmary froze. She wiped her hands calmly, then reached into her back pocket and pulled out a folded, weathered ID tag. She handed it to him without a word. The general took one look and snapped to attention. The room gasped. The aides froze, and then, in front of everyone, he saluted her. "Captain," he said firmly, eyes locked on hers. "It's an honor." You could hear a pin drop. Every medic, every soldier, every smirking officer, all frozen in place. She nodded once. "Just doing what needs to be done, sir." And that's when everything changed. Because the ID didn't just show a name, it showed a history: Special Forces medic, Black Ops deployment, 2-time Silver Star recipient. Honorably discharged at her request after a classified mission went dark. She had left the battlefield, but never stopped serving. The other nurses looked at her differently now. The soldiers who had joked behind her back couldn't meet her eyes. The officer who once asked her to step outside while real work was discussed quietly stepped away. The general didn't stop there. He turned to the others. "This woman has seen more field trauma than most of you have seen training simulations. She's held bleeding teammates in deserts, carried wounded through burning debris, and kept her unit breathing under enemy fire. And she came back, not for fame, but to serve quietly." His voice rose. She didn't need a title to lead. She didn't need applause to save lives. She was already a captain long before we gave her stripes. And with that, he walked out, leaving behind a room of people who would never see her the same way again. She went back to cleaning wounds, same as always. But now, the silence around her wasn't mockery. It was respect. Because power doesn't always announce itself with noise. Sometimes I work the night shift. Sometimes it folds bandages. Sometimes it keeps its medals buried in a drawer and its nightmares deeper. But when real authority walks into the room, it recognizes its own. She never asked to be saluted, but when it came from the top. True strength doesn't demand respect. It earns it in silence. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this with someone who quietly holds everything together without ever asking for credit. If this story touched you, subscribe the channel and hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments below.